And we're live.
What's going on, everybody? We're live. We're here. This is the season finale of All About Comics. We're going to take a little bit of a break. No hiatus, no Walking Dead hiatus. Just a little break so all of us can go ahead and get all of our bearings back and get in tuned. And summer's coming. So, my thought process is summer's coming. Everyone's going to be busy. So who's going to really want to have time to go ahead and be on and do the show? So wait for the winter time, September, where we all
There's
can
homes
come
to go
back.
to. There's
Yep,
family to spend time with.
exactly. So we come back. September is our first weekend of September is our due date, essentially.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, and then we all come back, and it's the winter time where everyone's just going to be home, and the only things that we have to do is Halloween, Christmas, Thanksgiving. That ain't shit, right? No one celebrates those things. So today we got a couple topics. We're gonna talk. We're gonna start off with Free Comic Book Day. It just happened. What did you pick up? Was it something fun? Did your comic shop have any good deals? Were you not able to go to a comic shop? Were you the comic shop? We're gonna start this bad boy off with Joe. Joe, Free Comic Book Day.
Right, didn't go. Next,
didn't even go. Didn't even go.
I actually had to work. I had to work at the local flea market where my buddy normally accepts submissions for pressing and stuff. So I had to take over the fort for him and hold it up while he went and inked some deals with some higher ups. So that was my my big to do.
Give away any free comics or have any deals that day?
No. No, the flea market doesn't really participate in it so much because a lot of them they're not physical shops. Right. And what some people may not know is that some shops, or actually all shops, have to buy those free comic books. They don't come free to the retailers. They actually have to buy them so they can give them out to their customers. So there's your little trivia, fun fact for today.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, that is an interesting thing that a lot of people don't know is that the shops do have to pay for these. Now, they're not paying a lot of money for them. I think they're paying like 25 cents an issue, but it's still, they spend $1,000. They're hoping to get that $1,000 back from these new people that come in, the kid that comes in off the street after a baseball game with their mom and dad, saying, oh, can I get this book right here? And then, okay, and then the mom and dad looks around a little bit, let me grab this too, this might sound good, or they start asking questions. That's what Free Comic Book Day is all about. And it's also about some of the writers, creators, artists being able to give back to their community of where they live, to show up at certain comic shops to do some signings. I know there was a few that were doing some signings out here that I didn't get to because I was really lazy, or I was like, well, I know who that guy is, but I don't collect any of his stuff or read his stuff, and I don't want to be disrespectful and be like, hey, I don't collect any of your shit, but sign this fucking book. So I just, I kind of gave him that little, ew, and then kept it pushing. So I think I'll go next on the Free Comic Book Day. Four-Way gave us the All About Comics.
Sorry, I'm here.
No, it's all good. So for me, I started my day. Essentially, I was going to Portland, so my buddy picked me up early in the morning, and we were supposed to leave early. And I told him, I said, "Hell, man, there's only 45 minutes till the comic shop opens over here. Why don't we just wait, and go?" And he's like, "Okay." He goes, "Well, let's go get some food first. You said it opens at 10." I was like, "Yeah, but it's Free Comic Book Day. The guy says that they get a big line. I think we should go." He says, "Okay," so we go. There was already a line starting. It was like when I looked behind. After about 20 minutes of waiting, there was actually a line going down the strip mall. I was like, holy crap, they weren't lying. They do get a bunch. The thing that I don't like is being limited to how many books you get. Most shops give you a limit of 3, and then if you spend X amount of dollars, you can get another book, or this other stuff. Incentives to get more, right? That's the only thing I didn't like. What I like is what this shop in Oakland does. And they've done it 2 years in a row now. And I think it's an amazing thing. And I think all shops should take from this. And I don't know what other shops do, but I know what they do. and this what I've seen so far is if you bring in, and this shop is called Cape and Cowl, and it's in Oakland, California. It's a great shop. If you go there for Free Comic Book Day, you essentially start out, I think, with three or four free comics you can get. But to get more, the incentive is you bring in canned food. So how many dollars worth of canned food you bring in to go, to give to them to go ahead and turn into a bigger organization. I think it's upwards of $40 to $60. So if you can get up to $40 to $60 worth of canned foods, which realistically kind of isn't, I mean, it's a lot in canned food because you think about it, canned food is only 69 cents. So you can get a shit ton of canned food or, perishable goods. You'll get up to like, I think 18 or 20 free comic books, right? On top of that, they work with a tattoo shop and they will give you a voucher to get a free comic book tattoo. Now, it's not like your choice. It's, they have a little thing like these are the ones that we'll give you, blah, blah, blah. So they give you an incentive to get a tattoo. Obviously, you're into comic books, you'll get a free tattoo with this essentially. But you're getting 20 free comic day books and then you're giving back to something. You're not, just going in there and saying, hey, look, let me go ahead and spend $5 more and I get this. They're actually doing something better for our community, which I think is great. And I think a lot of the comic shops should take note to that. But I know they're also doing deals as well, like 25% off on graphic novels. So, whatever deals they have going with their back issues and stuff like that, So with my shop that I went to here, it was three comic books plus whatever else you can get. You pay this, pay that, whatever, and do that. I didn't do any of that. I just grabbed 3 books, and I was only looking for 3, and it was like The Tick, The Loud House for my kid, and then I actually grabbed Exo Manowar. I didn't even grab Secret Empire. I went with Exo Manowar because Jeff Lemire's been killing Bloodshot. He's been killing Bloodshot, and it's been sucking me into his stuff. Marky gave me a trade, and it was amazing, So I was like, man, I'm sucked in with Bloodshot. It's great. Jeff Lemire killing it. I mean, it's weird how he's not killing it, but that's another story. So then we went to Portland. We went out to Portland. I went to a knife store. I went to Benchmade. I went to their actual factory, so that was pretty cool. But then from there, I looked on my phone. I was like, hey, man, there's a comic shop like 10 minutes away. Let's go to there. He's like, okay. So we go to the comic store, and there was David Pin something. I don't know. The gentleman who writes for he wrote Power Man and Iron Fist. He wrote it looks like he was doing something with Planet of the Apes, and then there was another book that he wrote, but I knew who he was, and I just was like, it's not for me. I don't, hey, I'm not gonna get anything signed from the guy because I'm not collecting any of his stuff. I don't know if it's good or not, but I know who he is. I know what he writes, and I'm just like, meh, So I don't want to be that guy that's in that line, like, oh, I get a signature, and here you go, you're the greatest. I don't fucking really care to read your shit, but you're the greatest, So I didn't want to do that, But when I walked by, I was like, hey, man, you're doing good work, and keep it moving. That's all I'm gonna do. I'm not gonna ask for a signature. Keep it going. And that's really what my day really consists of a free comic book day. Like I said, I picked up the Exo Manowar. I didn't even pick up Secret Empire. I was like, fuck the Secret Empire, because I have a vow that I'm not collecting Marvel or DC until they change their damn paper quality. And the one other thing I picked up one of those alternate comics. The one that has the newspapers, the newspaper print. I'll tell you what, when I cracked that bad boy open, I was like, whoo, girl. Artwork sucked. I haven't read it yet, though. Artwork was horrible. The printing on it was basically what you would see in the older books, how it was printed. It wasn't the dot. How back in the day it was printed, just dots, though? Yeah. It was smooth print. It did present well. It just, the artwork in that book is pretty horrible. But again, it's what you can do. It's independent. It's independent stuff. But it looks like it's going to be a fun read. So that's my experience.
Yeah, for me, I took the boys to the big comic book store in our area. We've got a couple of smaller places, but there's this bigger spot in the next city over that we go to, and they usually do a pretty big get up and whatnot. So last year they had some of the 501st Legion stormtroopers there greeting people as you walked in. They had all kinds of people this year dressed up. They had, I know we were there, and Spider-Man was flipping through some of the back issues, which is kind of funny. But yeah, our guys did the same thing as that Oakland store. You had a limit of 5, but if you brought in a donation of canned goods, then you could take out more. So the boys each got their 5 books. Actually, my wife even picked up a couple of books, which I was wickedly surprised about. We've been watching that Riverdale show on Netflix, and so she's kind of into the Archie a little bit. And they had the Betty and Veronica Adam Hughes there, which was there. She picked that up, and so I was like, awesome. Now we'll have something fun in common.
Right. It might not last, but hold on to it while you can, right, Mike?
Exactly. And so I looked through the stuff, and really there was nothing really all that appealing to me. So I picked up the Rick and Morty, which I read. It was pretty funny. And I did pick up the Secret Empire. I wasn't sure what was going on with it. I've heard a lot of controversy regarding it, and we'll kind of get into that in a minute because I was watching the chat as Frost was going, and everyone started talking about the next topic.
Right.
But Frost said something about people giving back to the community, like the local artists giving back to the community, and it reminded me that I actually had a commission done, and so I've been working on this. I got the Clayface done for Free Comic Book Day from the local artist there. His name's Mike Ruth. He's been doing a lot of the Aftershock comics variants lately. So yeah, he was there, and he was signing a bunch of his books and whatnot, and so he was there. I just gave him $20 to do it. You know, like he said he would have done it for free, but I mean, it turned out so awesome that I had to do it. And then
yeah, I really like that idea, Mike. I'm sorry to cut in, man. That's just something you don't see very often, where you see segments. Or what is it that they're drawing on there?
So it's a Bristol, not like it's an artboard that I cut down, and I basically squared it off into what is it, 3x3 or 4x4? I can't remember what it is.
Okay.
But yeah, so my idea was I wanted the middle two to be Batman and Robin, and I just wanted a Rogues Gallery around the edges.
Nice.
So I got 3 more spots to fill, and then it's going into a frame, and we'll see how that turns out. Maybe come September I'll be able to show you a finished product.
That'd be cool. That would be very cool to see.
Yeah.
I mean, that is a cool idea. You know, you get 2 characters, quintessential characters. You know, the pedophile and the one who's getting filed, and then the Rogues Gallery that's fighting against that and saying, no, you can't do that, Batman. And Batman's fighting him off like, yes, I can. I can do whatever I want. This is my BYTCH. You know, I'm sorry. Did I take it there? My bad. My fault.
Sorry. Lord of Longbox says it was the Hollywood Squares of Art. Well, my initial thought, I had the idea of making it like the Brady Bunch.
Oh,
I wanted them to all kind of be looking up at each other and looking down at each other.
That's
but
funny.
Putting Alice in the middle.
Yeah, and Alfred.
Right.
Yeah. That's funny. I like it. That's super funny.
But yeah, so there were a couple. There were like he had a couple of deals on back issues. It was 50% off back issues. It was 20% off wall books and 20% off like toys and all that other, you know, Funkos and whatnot. I didn't really pick up much because I was with the family, so I picked up the Deathlock the Demolisher. Just loved the cover. For the price, wasn't going to pass it up. Again, this one, the Batman with the red hood reveal, couldn't pass it up at the price. And just because I'm kind of collecting Munchkin lately, I picked up a back issue of Munchkin. So
Nice.
that was that.
That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. I mean, anything else other than that, or just that?
Nothing else really going on there. They had a couple other vendors like selling, like paintings of Marvel characters and stuff. I was talking with her for a little bit. She said that she does stuff for like man caves and kids' rooms and stuff like that. It was all right. And then there was a horror guy, and I'm not really into horror comics all that much, so I just kind of walked past it and went, that's nice.
So what we got going on over here in the chat for people who's going to be watching this, on the flip. Basically, the people we got in here, we got Reader 1717, we got Lords of the Long Box, with JLS, Buckshot, Merc with a Mouth, Lord Tatum. Who else we got floating around here? I think I've seen Biggie's in here. The Uncanny Kyle Walker. We got the Eddie the Comic Guy. The Midwest Comic Fan. Let's see here. We have we have the Comic Fan. We have GDJ Rod in here.
Wait, what?
What? We have Thomas Churchill. Yes, you're the Comic Fan, sir. That's what I'm talking about. Deb Polika, Instagram. All these boys are all in here having a good time, chatting away, and girls because they're scamming.
And Easy the Game Hunter just popped in.
Yep, Tat. Along with Tat as well. Exactly. Hi, Tat. There's two other people. I mean, there's I don't know, Four-Way Flashers. He's in here, Tat. There's Comic Fan as well. I mean, come on, guys. There's more than just me in here.
It is what it is.
These guys over here have more information to give out than I do. It's the beard. I get it. So the next thing we're going to talk about is that free comic book day, man. That Secret Empires. Now, I heard and I didn't hear about that Secret Empires right there of book burning again. Apparently, we're still burning books of Captain America. People do not like that Captain America is essentially working with Nazi-like figures, right? Now, I don't know if there's actual real Nazis in there because I don't think Disney wants to put themselves in any kind of junction with Nazis at all, especially at this moment in time and stuff. So I'm pretty sure it's Hydra, which Hydra is essentially Nazi-like-esque because, back in the day, Captain America was fighting Nazis and Hydra kind of was a Nazi thing, but, that's what they're doing right now. I don't know too much on it other than people are lighting it on fire. Four-Way, do you know more information about that?
Yeah. So essentially the story is that Steve Rogers was always a Hydra agent, and he just came out of the Hydra closet and is letting his Hydra colors fly. And so basically, I didn't read a lot of the Captain Steve Rogers book. What I understand, there was a sentient cosmic cube or something that altered his past, and now for all purposes he was a Hydra agent. Everyone lost their shit when that happened. Now, I was talking with Comic Fan just before the show, and I was saying, me not being from the United States, I don't necessarily see what the whole Captain America, oh, he's such an icon, like for me I've got chat block here, and Lords of the Long Box said it altered his memory. No, it wasn't altered his memory, it altered his history. So like he legitimately is a Hydra thing. It wasn't the memory that got altered. His whole history got altered. Anyways, the point of the story is when that first came out, when he came out and said Hail Hydra, people lost their shit. They wanted what's his name, Nick Spencer, string him up, blah blah blah. So then the Secret Empire book comes out, and so this one, the Zero book, for those who haven't read it, it's basically kind of the preview of the big battle versus Hydra and all of the superheroes. So all the superheroes are standing on one side, and this big Hydra thing lands, and the door opens, and there's Steve Rogers, right? And and everyone's kind of like, oh my God, Steve, what's going on? And he's like, okay, look, I work for Hydra. That's the way it is, and I don't want to fight you. You guys are my friends. You've been my friends for a long time. But Hydra is doing the right thing. They're going to change the world. They're going to make it a better place. And I'd like you guys to come work with me, work to make the world a better place. And they're all kind of like, no, that's not going to happen. They start a fight. Well, the fight goes south for the heroes real fast. Thor, she's like, I'm going to get you, Steve, and she kind of just disappears, leaving Mjolnir on the ground, and then Scarlet Witch loses her stuff, and at the end of the book, you see like Mjolnir just standing there, and Steve Rogers comes over, picks up Mjolnir, and holds it up, right, indicating that he's worthy, and the cause that he's with is worthy, and so it's basically it reprints Secret Empire 0.
I kind of feel like we should have said spoiler alert.
Well, you know what? You know what? I don't care. It's a reprint. You should have read it before. So, you know, anybody in the chat, you know who I'm talking to. You can go read a book.
That's funny. So
anyways, people again, lost their shit, right? And they started burning books, and you know, I'm protesting the fact that Captain America is a Nazi by doing the most Nazi thing I can do and burn a book.
Burn a book. Right.
So
here's my thought on this real quick. One, they're basically doing Civil War in a different way by doing this whole, you know, heel turn. And two, I was talking with a couple other guys about this, and I love that Captain America did this heel turn. It's like wrestling. It's like watching Hulk Hogan go from being the American man to NWO, or Sergeant Slaughter being that American flag guy to an Iraqi supporter. You know what I mean? Like, those were the best heel turns ever, you know? Like, people were crying, literally. Oh, I can't believe you do this. And this is where we're at right now with Captain America. People are crying, you can't do that, you know? And I'm like, dude, this is amazing. Like, I love it. I won't read it, but I think it's amazing that Captain America is turning from to me, in my opinion, a pussy to a badass. You know, I'm like, hell yeah, get some. I'm like, fuck some shit up, dude. Like, do work. And people that are burning books, I mean, that's, like you said, it's the most Nazi thing to do. That's what they did. They burnt a shit ton of books back in the day. I mean, fuck, we had a fire for at least a few months. I mean, okay, let's burn more books. First, you burn a book that you got for $3.99, or I think that book was actually $4.99 originally, the first book, and then you turn around, you get a free book, and then you go and you burn that. I mean, we all said most shops are giving you a limit. 3 books, 5 books, and you just wasted one of those fucking pickups to go get it and burn it. You know, you're like, you could have picked up something else. You could have picked up Underdog. You could have picked up Three Stooges. You could have picked up The Tick. But no, you want to pick up a book so you can burn. I hear you. I hear you.
And like Deadpool Instagram said in the chat, and I know some other people said it, let the story play out. I mean, people have been complaining about like how shitty Marvel's writing has been lately and whatever. Finally, they've done something interesting, and
people are shitting all over.
People are shitting all over it. Let the story play out. It's to the best of my knowledge the first time that he's ever gone you know, off the rails like this. You know, and you know, and then people are losing their mind. To me, it seems dumb. Don't burn your comic books. There's also a Spider-Man story in here. You're also burning Spider-Man, for Christ's sake. You know, like,
right? Spidey.
Spidey, what did he do? Why are you burning?
How much more American can you get than that?
I like Easy the Game Hunter. What he said here. He says they should have made this storyline Civil War II, Secret Empire, instead of that garbage that Civil War II was. Also, spoiler alert, Miles Morales kills Captain America. Oh, shit. That's amazing. I love it. Because I like Miles Morales. I think Miles Morales is cool. It just sucks that I'm boycotting Marvel and DC because they don't know how to fucking do good paper quality like everybody else is apparently doing. And I'm like, bullshit, I'm not going to fucking do that shit no more, you your piece of shit, floppy shit that just melts in your hand, not in your mouth, like fucking M&Ms and shit. Bastards. So, yeah, book burning. Wow. Let it play out. Let it play out, people.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I mean, how do you feel, Joe?
Not the only thing I can think of is a bunch of people in middle America, a bunch of hicks with a bunch of pitchforks and lighters in their hands, and that's it. That's all I can think about. I can't get the image out of my head. Other than it's funny that a Canadian brought up the story, though. You know, four-way flashes like that. He's like, you could just play. You know, you can play the Canadian guy, which you obviously are, and just be neutral about it. But that's cool that you brought it up. Meanwhile, it's kind of our problem.
So,
but I don't know. It's ridiculous.
I don't mean to cut you off, but you threw out something. You said people in Middle Eastern, right?
Middle America.
Middle America. So when you said Middle America, I thought of Middle Eastern. Why the hell weren't these people burning fucking X-Men Gold books?
I don't know.
Where were these people at?
They're cool with it. They're like, eh.
Right. Like, oh, it's all good.
Let's just wait and see where the story is going.
Right. Let's see where it goes.
Okay? Over that, right?
Let's see where that story goes. Wait a minute. And then, Lords of the Long Box.
Bro. Hold on.
He's okay. He's good. Yeah, Lords of the Long Box says, what if they turn Captain Canuck a Nazi? I don't see how the hell that would be possible. He's Canadian. If anything, that guy would go from an oiler to a whaler. Like that's about it.
They're like, hey, let's not get too crazy.
Been gone for a long time, eh?
Yeah.
Or that's funny. Tim goes, bring back slapstick. What if this Hydra Captain America was slapstick fucking around and had fucking Captain America in the back all tied up and shit and he can't do nothing and he's over here fucking with everybody? That would be amazing. That's why you can't kill him, because he's a living cartoon. There was something else in this chat though, and we're just gonna switch gears because you only can talk so much about burning books. I'm gonna burn a DC book here soon though. Probably a Frank Miller one at that. Valiant. Oh my god, Valiant. So I've been on a Valiant kick, right? I mean Valiant, like I've been reading old time Valiant, right? And that's Bloodshot, old time. And it's been good. Art's here and there. Writing is a little spotty. But this new Valiant that has been coming around, they've been doing so much. Like they have this Exo Manowar that, just like King of the Golden State said, man, this brand new Exo Manowar that came out was sneaky good. And it really was. I was like, man, sneaky good. I was like, bullshit. Let me read it. I read it. It was definitely sneaky good. Even this free comic book day, I picked it up. I read it. I was like, holy crap, this is actually pretty good. And what people don't know is in the Exo Manowar, there's a first appearance in that book. If anybody cares, Bloodshot's daughter. But Valiant has been making the valiant effort of making their stuff good. Faith was a big hit when it came out. The first oversized superhero in a female form, right? Exo Manowar's coming back strong, and they're getting good writers. Because what's going on? You got writers and artists getting upset with Marvel and leaving. Not so much for DC, but more over there. So all these writers want somewhere to go. So they roll on over to Valiant or Image, do their creator own stuff. And they basically make good stories. Like I said, Jeff Lemire, he's doing the Bloodshot. I was reading Jeff Lemire when he was doing Hawkeye, Green Arrow, and when I was reading those, something felt like it was missing, because I've read good stuff from Jeff Lemire where it was like it sucks you in. Sweet Tooth, even his new stuff right now, Royal City, his graphic novel that just released, Roughneck. I mean, these things suck you in. You're like, oh my god, and you're reading it, you're enjoying it. But when I was reading my Hawkeye, and I'm a big Hawkeye fan, I was like, same thing with Green Arrow when he was doing the New 52 Green Arrow. There was something missing. And then I start reading his Bloodshot, and he's just going at it. And I'm like, what the hell is the difference? And the only thing I can think of is that DC and Marvel was holding him back with a lot of things that he could write about, you know, in these things. And, you know, they were like, well, you can't do this, but you can do this, but don't do that, do this. And the only thing I felt that maybe Jeff Lemire could have came out and went crazy with was Moon Knight. When he started writing Moon Knight, he could have went crazy with Moon Knight, but he didn't. He couldn't. You know, and that only lasted, I think, 13 to 15 issues. And I was like, that sucks, you know. But then he's over here with Bloodshot going crazy. And I felt like when I read Bloodshot, the trade paperback I got from Marky, called Bloodshot Conquered, right? Something Conquered. I felt like I was in a friggin' John Wick film with how he was just going crazy with killing people. I was like, dude, let it go. Like, the dog will be okay, type shit, you know? So, I mean, you have Valiant that's doing great stuff, you know, making that valiant effort. And then you have Boom Studios booming through with a lot of good books as well. You know, it's insane how Boom Studios has picked up. I mean, they picked the ball up at Power Rangers and then ran, and they haven't stopped. I mean, they keep putting out good stuff. You know, just keep it going. Another company, IDW, still going strong that nobody really, you know, pays too much attention to, other than Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, really, you know. But they actually have really good stuff. Transformers was really good. Right now it's kind of stale, but they have so many Transformers titles. You're like, where do I go? You know, so if they just chop down the Transformers, I guarantee you Transformers is really good. IDW is also bringing back the old school Mask, you know, the mobile suit, you know, they brought that. They have the G.I. Joes going on. IDW's putting out a Yosagi Ojimbo Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle crossover coming up, I think, next month, which is all done by Stan Sakai, drawn and written. Yeah.
That doesn't look like Stan Sakai. I'm really impressed by that.
Well, the cover essentially, I think there's 3 covers. There's a Stan Sakai cover. There is a homeboy who does Mouse Guard. I think his name is Peter David or something like that. He's doing a cover, and then there's one other cover. I think it's going to be done by Kirkman, or not Kirkman. What's this? The gentleman who writes Ninja Turtles, Eastman, Kevin Eastman.
Oh, nice.
So I think there's 3 different covers for it, and then there's also going to be a hardcover, so you can get, and this is all a one shot, so you can get it in floppy form, or you can get it in a hardcover, which is pretty cool. And the hardcover is going to have a bunch of little processes through. If you follow Stan Sakai on any social media platform, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, you'll see he's been doing, you know, his artwork. He's showing certain things from it, what he's done. So they're doing that, and that's, again, all done by Stan Sakai. And I'm like, dude, that's amazing. You know, that's clearly amazing. So you have IDW doing good work. Vault. That new company Vault has been putting out some great stuff. Heathen, Crawlsea or something like that. You know, they have 2 other titles that just recently came out that have all sold out. All of them, their titles are sold out. It is low print run on these things, but they've sold out because it's independent. Image, I think Image is right up there with Marvel, DC, and that's another company I'm not gonna go buy any shit with, because they're bullshitting on their print runs with, you know, like fucking that bullshit book. What was that? What's that red something? That new book that just recently dropped, everybody's freaking out about.
Redneck.
Yes, Redneck. People freaking out because it's the same fucking writer who did fucking who's doing God Country. I'm like, fuck off. You know, it's just, you know, trash. And so, I mean, I think everybody should start looking into other companies than these big 3. I call it big 3 now. I don't call it big 2 anymore. I think Image is now part of a big 3, just with multiple different stories. But I honestly, I think people should start looking the other direction. Make a statement to get better quality stuff from Marvel, better quality stuff from DC, which DC probably is doing a better job than Marvel with having quality. You know, because they're having quality over quantity. Marvel is over here like quantity over quality right now. So DC's probably at the top, then it's Image, then it's Marvel. But they, all 3 of them, they need to get their shit together. But that's my little thing there. You guys want to move into the next topic?
Sure.
Pressing.
Not in any. I don't have a curfew tonight, so
yeah. By the way, guys, there is no curfew. There is no curfew tonight. Tonight we may go over an hour. If one of you or two of you guys want to come on and bullshit with us after this last topic, we can do it here live, and we bring in some of your own little topics. We can probably go ahead and tackle. So the next one we're going to talk about is pressing. Right? Pressing.
Yeah.
You guys know about this pressing thing a lot more than I do. I'm just a guy, on the outside looking in. I'm over here pressing a book by putting hella books on top of a book. That's really about it. But 4-Way, you were contacted by a gentleman, which you have a video out. Go check his video out about this pressing thing. 4-Way's going to take it away. I'm going to step away for a moment while they go ahead and talk about this pressing thing. So take it away, 4-Way.
All right. So a little while back, I was I got into contact with this guy who runs a website, and he's got a YouTube channel called sellmycomicbooks.com. And they just released a pressing video, like a how-to pressing video series. And he gave me a review copy, and I was able to review the videos, and I basically put it up on YouTube, giving my thoughts about the video series. And I know he allowed Joe and or comic fan and friggin'
Frost.
got Tourette's this tonight. Frost, thank you. Access to see the videos, and I know that we all had a chance to kind of look over the videos and whatnot. And I gave my opinion on my video. If you want to go see that, check it out. I'll leave a link in the description below after this is all done. But I thought we'd kind of go over a little bit of what they talked about in the videos, and we'll just talk about the ideas of pressing ourselves. And basically, the reason that they kind of go into the pressing is that if you're sending a book out to CGC and you've got a book that is going to be a hot book, you want to flip it. You're gonna send it into CGC, send it into their pressers. It might take a couple of weeks for them to press it, then send it out to the CGC, send it back, and then by the time you've got the damn thing back, it's lost its value, right? I mean, so if you're able to press it before you ship it off to CGC, then you're basically saving money and learning how to do the stuff. Like it's kind of one of those guarded secrets among pressers, especially. And I know Joe can talk to that a little bit, but nobody really wants to give out their secret sauce on how to do it. And I thought it was kind of a good thing, because I mean the whole mystery of it is it's really simple. Heat plus pressure equals a pressed book, right? I mean that's basically the long and short of it. There's certain finesses and stuff that you kind of have to go through and learn, but they kind of give you a rundown of cleaning books and pressing books, hydrating the books before you press them. And I think Comic Fan will agree with me that for a beginner to an intermediate, it's probably a good series that you could start on. But there's still going to be a lot of back and forthing, a lot of trial and error before you get your secret sauce done. And do you have anything, Comic Fan, that to add there? Or?
Yeah, I don't know where to start actually. Okay, let me just start off by saying that I work for a guy who presses books. I'm not the guy who presses the books, but I work for him. And for me to endorse his product, it's just not. It's almost like a conflict of interest. There's no way I can give a fair evaluation of this and give this guy, a nod to what he's doing. Personally, this guy's selling a lot of industry secrets and if you look hard enough, you can find out some of this information on your own without this video series. Basically, this guy is trying to throw some people under the bus. That's how I feel. He says he's not in the business of pressing other people's books, but if you look in the video series, he's got like 13 presses for his own use. Okay, fine, great. But I watched most of the series, and I can see a lot of some inconsistencies, some discrepancies that I would personally have with the video series. But in no way can I go and tell you how he can improve on this, because if he watches this video, well, then he's gonna revise his videos, and voila, he has a better product. That's a conflict of interest for me and the company that I work for. Get it?
Yep.
Okay, so with that being said, I can say that I was telling you before we went on air that this guy nowhere in the video that I watched showed that he was going to be liable for this. There is no what's the word I used? There's no disclaimer. There's no disclaimer that says that, hey, I am not liable for what you do to your books after this is done and after you watch my video. That's a huge loophole. A huge loophole for somebody who just is giving an introduction to pressing. Somebody is wise enough to find this loophole and sue somebody unless they plug that up really quick. Okay. But for somebody who is willing to shell out secrets for what was the initial price? $67?
$67, yeah.
$67, you can get in on the ground floor and kind of learn how to make a book flat. Okay, I will say that, but it is a lot of trial and error. Most certainly, there is a lot of stuff that he doesn't show you. That me, as being a person that seeks this stuff out personally, will come across eventually. If you watch this and you seek out some truths yourself, you'll find out there are a lot of things that are not covered in this that should be covered. It's not complete. He does not show you how to do a modern book, because there are certain treatments that go along with modern books versus pressing a book with pulpy pages. That is something that you definitely won't get out of this. And I won't go any further than that in the details, because once again, this is a conflict of interest for me, and there's not something I can endorse. But yeah, this is not something I would take lightly. If somebody really wanted to get into this, I would strongly suggest that you do a lot of trial and error on some books that don't mean so much to you before you even attempt to burn a book.
No, to be fair, I did watch the entire series, and that was their first thing. They said, go out, buy dollar books, go to garage sales and get the crusty books and whatnot, and work on that. Get your technique down. Make sure that the temperature that they recommended is the right temperature for you. So, again, I think they kind of get you in on the ground floor. They tell you what kind of supplies and whatnot you'll need, and they show you how they claim that they do it. And if you follow that, then you should be able to start pressing your own books. Now, that whole series aside, now would you press your own books, Joe, if you had the right material? Or I know that you've got a guy, right? And you work for a guy, and you probably get a discount on press books and whatnot. But if you could do it yourself and save yourself that extra little couple bucks or whatever, would you do it?
Okay, forgetting the fact that I associate myself with a highly reputable presser. Okay.
Yeah. And I know a lot of people, even in the chat, have used your guy. And nothing against your guy, man. Look, because I've seen the results. I've watched the video. The some of the stuff he can do looks like it's magic, And he's probably been doing it for a long time as well.
He's done enough. Had enough experience to move up the ladder fairly quickly.
Yeah,
he's got a reputation. So, I will go. I'll do a shameless plug. I work for Rocket Pressing. If we're throwing out this guy's name, sell my comic books, I'm only entitled to go and sell up my. I'll throw out my guy's name. I work for Rocket Pressing. Yeah. Rocket Pressing has just signed on a deal to do the pressing for the Stanley Signature Series. So he's got to be good. I mean, if he's able to work his way up to that point,
Yeah.
He's got a reputation and he's doing something right. Now, if I'm watching this other series, and believe me, I'll say this again, I don't press books, but I'm able to see the discrepancies in this video. When you and I saw the dry cleaning portion of this video, we laughed. We had a good chuckle, right?
Yes.
Because in his toolbox were 2 erasers and a painter's brush. I know there's more to it than that. You know, I can't give out details on how to better the white of your books and whatnot.
Look,
but you know,
ETA Nick did a video on how to better white your books. I mean, the whole thing is with pressing your own books. There's 2 things. There's one, the information is out there if you look hard enough for it, right? Looking, and that before I found this video, I've done a lot of research on it, right? I mean, I've gone through forums and whatnot of I know on CGC they have a restoration forum there, and if you go through those forums, they got a lot of information on what people do for restoring books and pressing books and whatnot. Now they're not going to sit there and say, look, cook your book at 400 degrees and then blah 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 blah, right? But they say like, if you look here, you might find some information, and if you kind of look at this, you're going to find some information. So no one's giving out the secret sauce as freely as this guy is. But yeah, like, I mean, the information is all out there, especially with the dry cleaning. I mean, like I said, ETA Nick did a video that I know got a little bit of controversy when he did it, but I mean, the results are the results, man. I mean, am I right? Am I wrong? I see. Biggie's has said he would press his own books if he had the machine. Eddie the Comic Guy says, I just sit on my comics, they come out fine. And Tat's trying to take notes.
Okay, so
well, there is a video ETA Nick did recently on how to fix a spine roll. Yeah, that's a good video. I'm in the process of doing it. I just don't have big enough and heavy enough books, so mine's taking a couple weeks. Okay, don't judge it. It's taking a couple weeks. And then Tat did mention what do with the Kyle Rowe way. That man took a fucking iron to his bad boy. If you guys see that video, he not only did he iron out a record and fucked one up, he ironed out a book as well. Literally took an iron and some wax paper and ironed out a book. Amazing. Loved it. I was like, the things you can do. So I mean, hey, to each his own. Try what you got, do what you do, you know what I'm saying? Pressing pressing to me is very interesting, because I don't think, you know, one should press a book unless it is getting graded. And then I don't think you should press a book sometimes as well, because sometimes if it's done wrong, which this guy could have that potential. I don't know if you guys have said this because I had to step away. With pressing it, sometimes things can go wrong when you do the humidity. You know, you can put too much moisture into the book. You could burn the book when you're doing the pressing because it's up too high. You know, there's too many variables for error in pressing a book yourself compared to paying the $10 to possibly $20 to a professional. I think.
Now, I've never actually sent my book out for pressing to a professional. What, with Rocket Comics, what guarantees does he give? So I give my Spider-Man 300, right? I want it pressed out.
Yeah.
Let's say the unthinkable happens and he burns the cover, right?
Well,
what's the difference between him burning my book and me burning my book?
Well, you know, like I said in the beginning, you have to have a disclaimer.
Yeah.
You know, that you are not responsible. You know, if you sign on the dotted line, you are, you know, giving this book to them, and we're not liable for anything that may happen to that book. Now, at this point, nothing, we haven't found, as far as pressing goes, they haven't damaged any books where we'd have to replace them or anything like that. But if something were to come up, we have to have ourselves covered.
Yeah. So
and
this
doesn't cover it.
Is he insured for it, or how's that? Like, I'm genuinely curious now that I'm thinking about it. Like, does he have insurance on something like that?
That's something I haven't really gone as far to really find out. But I have spoken to him about that, where he would have to be insured on something, whether it's something get lost in shipping or something that happened on his end. Yeah. And going back to this video really quick, they have admitted where they've left their books in the presses and left them on and fallen asleep. That's not something you want to admit in a tutorial. Come on. If you're any kind of professional in this, you don't want to reveal that, yeah, I've left my book in a press and left it on overnight. Come on, guys. It's really not worth my money or worth my time. They cite that the only example they give is CGC and how long the wait time is for their pressing company and how much it adds on to the wait time in order to get it slabbed and stuff. Now, by this point, we all know that CGC is not the only option. We know there's other people doing it. It's not a big secret as much as it was in the beginning. It's just all about technique, and the technique is what is the secret.
Now that being said too, though, okay, so what's the turnaround time on a Rocket Comics book?
At the moment, we used to cite 1 to 2 weeks. At this point, my buddy or my boss is on the convention circuit with Stan Lee. He's getting his name out there. We've actually had to double our wait times, 2 to 4 weeks. Now, 2 to 4 weeks in comparison to CGC, it's very small compared to.
Very small, but as he gains notoriety, and whatnot, he's going to get more and more orders. Correct? Like that's what you hope for. You work for him, but you don't do any of the pressing. Do you think he's going to bring you on at any point to start doing pressing with him, so that you can?
The age-old question that I've asked you before on this one: are you wanting to do it? And I remember your responses has changed like 2-3 times.
I've dodged it every time, but now that you've put me in the hot seat,
you're in the hot seat now.
Yeah, I've been given the opportunity.
And we're done. I'm sorry. Next season.
For the shocking reveal, will Joe press? Will Joe not press? That is the question. That's funny.
No,
but do you see where I'm getting at? Like, so if I know that I'm sending to Rocket Comics, now it's gone from 1 to 2 weeks to 2 to 3 weeks or whatever, right? Mm-hmm. He's got to bring people in to start pressing these books if he wants to keep up with the demand, right? It's the same thing, because I know CGC, they started off having great turnaround times, and then as more people wanted their books slabbed and whatnot, they have not kept up with the demand for the slabbing. So what happens is, like I believe that CGC should open up like another, like an East Coast slab center and a West Coast slab center. So anything on the West Coast goes there. It halves it up, right?
Right. What you have to remember is that when it comes to pressing, it's more time consuming to be on the machines than to actually put it in a machine. Okay. Yes, there's some techniques that need to be done, but it mainly just eats up time as far as the time that the book has to sit in the machine. As long as you can keep on buying machines, where's the problem?
True.
If you can just keep on setting up machines, it really doesn't take up much time. It doesn't need an additional person. Yes, we have talked about bringing more people on and whatnot, but at the time when we deal with 2 to 4 week wait times, people seem to be understanding about that. So as long as we can keep up with that, right now everything is under control.
Well, I think with the wait time, compared to like what a CGC. So you get the CGC presser, and then now you have the CBCS presser. Those are all in-house pressers, and Rocket is an outsource, right? But they have the big name right now, right? They're working for the head honcho, essentially, right? What makes me feel weird about having to get a book pressed, right? Now, I send my book to any presser. It doesn't just have to go with Rocket, because I'm not trying to, discredit anybody. I'm just saying with any fucking presser. I send my book in to get pressed. It gets damaged on the way there. Luckily, it is going to a presser who could possibly fix the damage, right? But when I want that presser, or to send it off to CBCS, CGC, PGX also has their own in-house presser. So, I mean, we're using outside source when all three companies has their own presser. Now, from the presser to now the grading companies, that's where it would scare me. It's like, I know how I would, ship my books. I don't really know how they ship the books, and it's like, oh my God, you know what I mean? And the one thing, it's like, I don't know if my book will get damaged on the way there. I don't know how they package it. If it does get damaged, I don't know what it looks like when it goes off to those. So that's what is uneasy. The next thing that's uneasy is if I send it to a presser, like outsourced, Rocket Comics, Chino Man in NYC, whatever, right? I send it all there. These guys, I'm paying a service. So they're going to press my book and or pick up the phone and say, hey, man, this book doesn't need to be pressed, which has happened to me before with one of my books. They said, dude, this thing's pristine. You don't need to press it. Great. But if I send my book to CGC, CBCS, now PGX, I do know they pick up the phone and say, hey, man, this book really actually doesn't need to be pressed. They've done that. I've heard about that. The other two, how am I to know that they actually did press it? Because they get so much, CBCS, CGC, they get so much stuff coming through. What are the chances they take a look at, fuck it, fuck, doesn't need to be pressed. No, he's good. Throw it through. 9.6s all day, right? Possible 9.8s by luck. Because the guy, in a sense, can actually grade a book by looking at it, not having to send it in. You know what I mean? And that's why I think the pressers are essentially graders, because they have to be able to tell what your book could now possibly be. Yeah, this should come back as a 9.8. I know that, I know in more Warriors, their guy, they use the Chino Man is what they call him. He was really on point with a lot of their books, along with, which I think has helped Biggs as a collector move forward on knowing how to grade his own books, which is amazing, because when you can grade your own books, I think you don't need a grading service to do it for you. But, it's like the conversation we had earlier, putting things in, key issues. But, like, how do I know that my books are getting pressed by those companies compared to your guys' company? I know you guys will be, like other outsources can press it, and we know it's getting pressed because, it's an outsource. That's how they're making their money. They are going to press it. They're not just going to be like, oh, no, it's good. No, because if it comes back a shit grade, you're going, the fuck? And then you're looking at it and it's not really pressed. You're like, what the fuck? Then it's a big problem. So, Joe, with that
point, go ahead. I'm sorry, man.
No. With that, like, I was segueing into you, like, I know you don't know too much because you're not really on that end. You're there, but you're not there. So it's like we're trying to nitpick questions out of you and getting answers when realistically we can't, because you don't do it. It's not what you're doing. It's what he's doing. You just work for him and doing sales and conventions, right?
Right. Yeah, I take care of some of the paperwork. I do the comic business side, the sales of comics side for them. But more recently, I've been doing some of the submission paperwork for them as well. So that's actually done off-site from the office where he's pressing. A lot of that's done on-site at the time when people bring us the books. So, but what was the question again? And maybe I can elaborate on that.
I'm sorry, because I went crazy with it. All right. So the question really was with the shipping. Like, how can we know that the shipping is going to be really secure and tight to get over there? And then the next thing is how trustworthy can we trust a company that's working for a company, as in CGC's pressing, CBCS's in-house pressing, and PGX's in-house pressing. How can we trust them on pressing our books compared to when we do know an outside source like Rocket Comics or the Chino Man or whoever else? I think somebody uses Darkside Jedi Ryan as a presser as well.
Right.
We know that these guys are pressing. You know what I mean? Okay. So that's, you get what I'm
okay.
saying?
As far as the shipping aspect is concerned, that's out of everybody's hands, and you're at the mercy of a shipping company. Okay, but very easily to explain. It's going to be a little small of an explanation, but it's easy to explain. As far as getting your books insured for the right amount, your big two shippers, UPS, FedEx, they don't insure collectibles. Very important to remember, guys. Unless somebody else knows something different. It's very important to remember that they will not insure anything over $100 for collectibles. If you really truly have like this big book that's your family heirloom or something of great, tremendous value, the one shipper I can recommend is the good old USPS. Now, a lot of people don't trust the USPS. However, a lot of people don't know about registered mail. Registered mail is very expensive, but registered mail will insure it for the full value of your book. Okay, so basically what it does.
Shout out for the people you work for tonight, Joel.
Oh yes, I work for the Postal Service. Excuse me.
God, bust him out. Now people are gonna bitch at him and dumb down his channel when they're packaging.
I'm not showing up business cards and stuff like that. All right, it's not a sales pitch. This is the honest truth. The USPS will offer registered mail, which will see it through a series of stages where everywhere it exchanges hands. Somebody has to log it in, log it out. Okay, it's a very secure way of shipping, and that's one way to almost guarantee that your product is protected and insured. With that being said, knowing whether or not your book's being pressed, I think a lot of people that have had their books pressed, and I'm sure everybody who's had their books pressed notices a difference between their books being pressed or not. Unless it's a modern book, most people see physical defects with their books. Am I right? And that's the whole reason why you want to get it pressed, right? It's not flat enough. It has a dog ear, whatnot, whatever have you. Most people can see with a bit of a trained eye that there's something wrong with their book, right? And they want to get it to that higher level. I'm not one to say that something's going to be a 9.8. I've had people ask me for my personal opinion when I'm filling out the paperwork. I myself have to relieve myself of that liability and verbally tell them I am not CGC, and I can't recommend what grade it might come out to be, because that would set me up for something, right? Mm-hmm. Something comes back and it's a 9.6, 9.4. When I said, yeah, that's definitely 9.8, I can't put myself in that position.
No. So and I don't think any presser worth his salt is going to say this is going to come back a 9.0 guaranteed, because, you just can't make that. You can't make that that claim. Otherwise, you'll be held liable for that, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And just throw it out here. We do have Gene Paul Ace Peter. He did show up.
Hey, now.
Hello.
I said.
So quickly, rapid fire round for Gene Paul Ace Peter. Free Comic Book Day. What'd you do?
Nothing.
Secret Empire. What do you feel about burning books?
Amazing. No,
awesome.
Terrible idea. Terrible idea.
And pressing. Where are you sitting on that?
It's like Age Defying Cream. It might seem like it's working, but we don't know the long-term effects yet, so we'll see.
There you go. And now you're caught up. Continue on, Joe.
Which one?
Well, yeah, I think I've said quite a bit to ponder right now. So if we want to take some stuff from the chat, we haven't heard from the chat in a while. We can.
Well, there's not too much going on other than to Stan Lee know. I have no fucking clue what King of the Golden State means by that. But Gene Paul A. Scepter has been putting stuff in the chat. Like, yeah, it's a really good question. How much is too much to pay for pressing? Let us know below. And Biggs is saying, for him, pressing shouldn't cost no more than $15 to $10 minimum. And his presser charges that. Now, that brings up a good question. on how much should you pay. And I know CGC charges more than that. And I'm pretty sure CBCS charges a little bit more than that. Rocket Comics charges 20. Is it?
$5. Well, no, at a regular place where we take submissions, we only charge $5 for pressing and $5 for cleaning. Now, some of those can have yeah, you heard me right.
What about online?
Online, it's a little different because there are some shipping charges involved, and you'll have to go and check out the website for current prices on that. But to our local customer base, we don't charge a whole lot. There are variables to that, however. When you're dealing with signature series and stuff like that, we have to pay a facilitator or a person, the witness. There we go. We have to pay the witness to be there at the whole time while your book's being pressed. So there are different variables to the prices once you go in that direction.
Ooh, now there was a really good question that just popped up. Does pressing with CGC better your chances of a 9.8? I don't think so, because like I was saying a little bit ago, is your book really getting pressed by those guys? They get so much in at a time that at one point I think they honestly just take a quick gander, one eyeball it, and then throw it through. Like, that's what I think. I don't know. What do you guys think?
Yeah, one of those, from what I've realized, is that like a 9.6 and 9.8, sometimes the defect is something like a fuzzy corner or something, which is a non-fixable to be pressed. So I think you see the biggest differences when you've got a mid-grade book that has the ability to jump from a 6 to a 6.5 to a 7 and so on. But again, I don't know a whole lot about pressing myself, but it is intriguing. I've tried to do it. I've done it before when I was younger. You know, I had a comic jammed in my book bag and it got all folded up, and you put it under those encyclopedias and let it sit there. You flip it, let it sit there, flip it, let it sit there. And, you know, other than that, yeah, I don't know a whole lot.
Yeah, exactly. It comes down to being able to grade your own book and tell what it can come back. And as Big says, you know, it all depends on the defects for the pressing. I mean, and then it also depends on the grader that you get. Some graders aren't as harsh as other graders. Sometimes you might get that guy that's just about to leave work and he wants to, and that's the last book. He'll slide through whatever 9.8, and you got the biggest subscription crease down the center. You just got a 9.8. Or you got the guy who just got yelled at by his boss for taking too long of a shit break because he was playing fucking Angry Birds on his phone in the shitter, and now he's pissed and disgruntled, and now you just got a shit 7.0 when your book should have been probably a 9.8. You know what I mean? I mean, it's really in the eye of the beholder of who's grading your book, and if you can grade your book to begin with. I think before you send a book to get graded, you should know how to grade your own book as a collector. Be able to grade your own book.
And another thing too is that you guys were talking earlier. You know, every presser has their different techniques and stuff like that. So, like, probably make sure you do your research. Make sure, you know, not just ask around. That's one step of it, but really look into the company that's doing it, and just be confident in who you're going to go with, because it is a big decision. You love your books. This is why you're going the extra step to make them look even better. So make sure you do your homework. Make sure you go to not just somebody that somebody else trusts. Make sure that you feel like you trust them.
But how can you trust somebody that you've never been to?
That's true. There's so many variables, like you said, but he could just be cantankerous one day on the toilet, pissed off about something, and just be like, yeah, that's good enough, whatever. Or he's got a back order. I mean, we know that about certain companies that has happened before, where they've been backed up and they were just moving stuff out really fast.
Exactly.
So
I mean, it was scary for me shipping a book. Sorry, Joe.
Yeah.
When I shipped my Shazam to Big E's, I was scared. I was like shitting myself. I'm like, oh my god, you know, because I knew it was high grade. Biggs gets it, says I got it, it's safe. They grade it, and then when he said he was shipping it, I was like, oh my god, I don't want it to get hurt when it goes to CBC, you know. And he's like, no, bro, I put more extra stuff in it, and I'm like, cool, you know, like great. But it's a scary situation. You got a high grade, you're like, bitch, don't hurt, you know what I mean? So it's one of those things. And I know Gene was about to bring up what Manny says. Manny says take pictures. Honestly, I don't think taking pictures is going to do anything. What are you going to do? Show the press? Hey, man, hey, you didn't do this, and they're going to be like, and go fuck yourself. Here's $1.35 credit back. You know,
well, that was something that they used to do anyway. Like I remember when a lot of people were sending the books off just to be slabbed, you know, getting any kind of documentation of what your book was before it left your hands. It'll be good. Like you said, I don't know what you can do with that. Like you go to a cop and see, like, look, my book, this was how it looked, and now it's this. You know, so I don't know what you can do with that, but it is good for insurance purposes for yourself, like peace of mind. You get a book back and you're like, okay, I paid for this. Like you were saying earlier, you're like, did anything change? How do I know? And you get that book and you're like, you know what? Yeah, it does, because that's out of your hands for a month, 2 months, 3 months, who knows, however long it's out of your hands. So
yeah. Before I say what Big says, go ahead, Joe. Say what you say.
No,
that comment is funny as shit.
That is funny. I will agree that this is all a gamble. From the moment it leaves your hands, it's a gamble with everything. Nothing is perfect. Everything is subject to error. You know, I don't know if there is a perfect technique. I'd like to think there is, because I work for a guy that in my mind and my eyes have perfected it. But once it leaves his hands, who's to say that it's not subject to damage with the shipping companies? You never know.
Right. See, and that comes to when the book leaves your hand and goes into the Postal Service's hand, that's where your trouble starts. The fact that you're taking the book out of your collection and sending it to somebody else to do grading for you, when you should know your own grade, or you should wait for when they go and they do on-site grading. Because they do on-site grading, you can just go right to them and you know everything's handled with care. You handled your book with care? No? Oh, go ahead.
No, I mean, who's to say that on-site grading isn't? Do they grade it in front of you? Who's to say that there's not somebody in a back room eating a peanut butter and jelly sandwich right now and using your book as a coaster to rest their drink on? You know, you don't know. There's got to be some kind of risk at that as well. You know, I've heard some horror stories, and I will not drop names, but I've heard some people are eating lunch while they're grading comics, and it happens.
I think there is a shop in Concord, Flying Colors, that was doing that to my buddy Evan. Evan was trying to get some stuff. Guy was eating it, and he was trying to grade some shit with it with his sticky fingers. Yeah, that guy over there, Flying Colors in Concord, Pleasant Hill area. Piece of shit shop, don't go there. But the comment that was super funny to me in the chat was from Biggie's Comics. He said, I took care of your book, Frost, better than my firstborn, LOL. Now here goes the fucked up shit from Eddie the Comic Guy. So you dropped it a few times, Biggs? Next comment was from King of the Golden State. Well, shit. It's kind of fucked up. Like, why would you drop my book? I mean, I understand your kid. I mean, I do it to my kid all the time, but I don't drop my comic books. I mean, come on. I think we're all in agreement with that.
I think what we've all kind of learned here is don't ship out your books anywhere. Just
unless it's for
keep
trade.
them in your own collection. Wrap them in plastic, Mylar, and just hide them away. Don't even read them.
Foil paper.
Foil paper.
Laminate it.
Laminate, exactly. Laminate those books.
So you don't pop the staples. Put a board right in the spot, right in the middle. You know, laminate it. Staples won't pop. You'll be all right. Don't worry about it. You'll be good. You know, the other thing I was wondering, you know, I'm thinking here, like I'm seeing the word Florida pop up. Florida has high humidity, right? So with Florida having high humidity, a lot of crazy wax paper, a lot of crazy like weather. I mean, God, just imagine that fucking little scooter of a goddamn fucking postal truck. Brrr, barely any heater. The little fucking fan when it's fucking hot. Brrr, your book is like sweating and just God, the humidity. It's, you know, is as horrible as it feels for you. With that heat and humidity, your book is feeling the same way. And imagine being wrapped in a bunch of bubble wrap, thrown with a bunch of packing peanuts, books or packages on top of that package. Your book is getting incubated right there. Oh my God. the horribleness of sending your book to CGC or fucking CBCS in Florida. Jesus Christ. Not to mention if you send your shit to PGX here in fucking Oregon, all it does is fucking rain. So it's like, fuck, you know. But yeah, again, don't send your shit out. Grade your own goddamn shit. There's a good grading guide. It's called the Overstreet Hand Guide, Price Guide. I mean, that's a good thing to read. It's a little bit more stricter. We found that out recently, that is actually a little bit more stricter than what we have with the grading companies. I know Gene Pauley Speeder and myself found that out. We were like, what the hell? So
yeah, and I've always gone by the Overstreet Price Guide, and then I find out that, and it actually makes sense. I mean, the grading companies want you to go to their company. They want to turn out higher grade copies of books and things like that. But there's some significant differences in the grading. But it's also confusing too, because CGC is also in company with or in partner with Overstreet Price Guide, so it's a little weird.
Well, yeah. Go ahead. No, go ahead, because I was going to read it. I was going to read something in the chat, but go ahead.
No, wouldn't that be a little bit of a conflict of interest as well? Do you think?
With what? Going by the grading on?
Well, no, Overstreet having some kind of. Or do they have a partnership with CGC, or am I thinking? Am I hearing this wrong?
I think you're hearing it wrong. From my knowledge, I don't have a partnership with them. I do know that they do now. They did change a little bit of their ways of how they put in the books. Back in the day, they did the VG, the VFs, and all that. But now they're putting the point system, the 9.0s and shit like that, inside their grading things in the books now.
Gotcha. Okay.
So Lord Tatman says, if it wasn't for the fact that I bid on slabs online to try to cut down the chance of getting a color-touched books, I would slab nothing. That's kind of, I mean, you buy, yeah. I mean, is it cheap? Do you feel it might be cheaper to buy a slab, a book that's already slab, or?
I don't know. Our good friend Justin Bieber here has recently learned that it's nice to have slabs. What's up?
When the Biebs is over here,
he's frozen. He hasn't blinked in about a minute now, and either he's died of shock.
No, he's good. I think he's good. Oh no, maybe he did die of shock. I don't know.
We get a breeze. Yes, everyone. I think that's great.
Hey, don't y'all know?
Char.
Yeah, slabs from the Beeb. Yeah, he got some slabs recently.
Yeah,
for like a couple bucks, which dick. One of those raffles. Oh my god, we got the Beebs twice.
The Beebs.
That's right. Manny has dubbed you Justin Bieber
because of the hair.
That's right.
That's amazing. I'm gonna get a shirt that says that.
Yeah.
I'm the Beebs. Manny says so.
That's right.
Nailed it.
So yeah, I mean, is there anything else you guys want to fucking talk about before we go? You guys have anything else? I mean, it's the season finale. We'll be back in September. Everybody needs to rest up.
I forgot to bring my confetti cannon.
Damn it, we were supposed to have confetti. Son of a bitch. Oh, yeah. That's right. We're talking graders and pressing and shit. PGX has new labels. What? Crazy. You should go grade your books now with PGX. They're amazing. It's, oh my God. New labels, greatest thing in the world. I'm doing it. You guys should all jump in with me. Come on, Canada. You guys
I'm gonna do it.
Hey, Canada can't get shit fucking graded without paying like $200 for shipping to get it back. You know what I mean? I mean, you guys should go PGX all day.
We need a Canadian grading company.
Nope,
a CGC, if you will, Canadian grading company.
No, PGX will work. You don't need a Canadian grading company because, fuck. I mean, how many of you cheap Canadians are really going to get your shit paid? Graded?
Are you kidding me? We just talked about this in the last episode where Punisher 88 had to pay off his first slab in installments. He was so happy that he finally paid off his one slab book, man. Right. Give Canada some love. That's all we're asking. Just a little bit of love.
I mean, he's been waiting since like Las Vegas, since that Las Vegas fucking gone to get his fucking book back. I mean, hey, you know, I mean, I remember Rage Comics when he was getting his books back from CGC and fucking CBCS, and he was pissed on they double charged him on shipping. They all shipped it in one box, and you know, I mean, it was, come on. You know, they're raping them. I mean, it costs more to ship the books back to Canada than it does for them to pay for the grading. Like, that's horrible. I mean, very horrible.
Blame Canada.
And then the markup on the Canadian dollar anyway. So like all said and done, it's going to cost you $100 to slab a book. Doesn't matter what it is.
True.
Better be worth it.
Exactly. But yeah, they got a new label. PGX does. It looks amazing. Okay, it doesn't look amazing. It looks great. It looks way better than what they had. Don't ask me to show you because I don't have it pulled up at the moment in time. It'll take me about 20-30 minutes to do it because I'm lazy. But if you do want to see it, the gentleman from PGX, one of their head guys there, he's actually posted pictures over at the New York Warriors Facebook page. He's actually posted some pictures there, and apparently they have a contest going on as well. PGX does. So you can go ahead and check that shit out there. They are rolling it out now. So if you ship today or tomorrow, actually, and your books get there this week, you will be getting the new label. So there it is. New label for the new people of the free world of PGX and cheap slabbing. So it's going to be great. I'm going to do it. I wish I could walk it over to the garage, knock on the garage, and they bring it up, and then I can head there, and I can be there. They won't allow me to come over there. So it's like, dang it.
No.
I'm going to do it too. It's going to be my first book I've sent in, and it's going to be to PGX.
So when it stops snowing in Newfoundland, I will believe this.
Yeah, I know.
I will believe this when it doesn't snow in Newfoundland.
Man, it was nice here today. It was like 4 degrees. It was awesome.
Well, hey, you got to walk around and just flip-flops
in just my winter jacket.
Flip-flops and jeans on that one, huh?
Leave the gloves at home today.
Left the gloves. Well, fuck it, man. I'm going to tell you guys about an experience I did today. My cousin, she's from Minnesota. She lives in Minnesota. She flew out here to Oregon, and she had a roller derby contest tournament that was out here. I got to go to my first roller derby game. I'm excited about that. I haven't got a hat, and it's weird because I don't like yellow, and it's the Minnesota Roller Girls, and it's Roller Girls, and I just thought it was funny that Sean's wearing a Wonder Woman hat. I'm wearing a Minnesota Roller Girls hat. I mean, we're all femaled up. He looks like Justin Bieber. I look like a hipster with a beard and a trucker-style hat. I mean, I'm ready to go over the top of my trucker-style hat, though. You know what I'm saying?
I'm going to go full Pokemon trainer soon. It doesn't matter.
I can see
the
that.
one glove.
Yeah.
The one. That's right. It's got to be the very best. So,
it's got to be the best.
So, yeah, man, roller derby was amazing. It was fun. It was very fun.
Was it hot? Was it
like
hot?
the temperature, or as in
No, like,
what was going? No, it was weird. It was stinky. Like
Really?
I think I forgot they forgot some of those girls forgot their deodorant. But yeah, it was good. It was good. Too many weird hipsters there. Like I thought it was a bunch of Newfoundlanders all in one area, and it was like weird. I didn't know what to do. People were wearing too many skinny. There were so many skinny shorts, not jeans, shorts, like skinny shorts. I'm like, yo, bro, your nuts are showing. Like, what the fuck? There's kids here. You know, I mean, it was ridiculous. Manny says we're gay. The messed up part is there's more gay people in New York than there is in Oregon. So, sir, you're gay. Let's see what we got in this chat here. We got it. Guys, I'm looking for War of the Gods 3. If anyone has an extra, let me know. No one has one, and no one will send you one. AG Surfer, don't care if PGX comes in solid gold. I ain't slabbing shit. You liar, AG Surfer. You would if it is solid gold. Let's see here. Dude got something for you, man. Well, look, Eddie, the comic guy has something for you. It's going to be free. It might take 6 months for you to get it, but you'll get it. GDJ Rod said, Frost didn't make the tryouts. I did not make the tryouts. I tried. Apparently, I wasn't busty enough.
That small.
Yeah, I was too small for the skates. or to even be out there. These women were killing me. Why are you looking at N-words? Nuts. That's effing gay, boy. Manny, you are actually somebody who does wear cuffy shorts that are too goddamn tight that your nuts are screaming, let me out. So yeah, I can see why you're sitting there saying it's gay and everything like that, but you wear them and they're cuffed. Like who cuffs shorts? Shorts, and you can't tell me I'm lying because Ray Jr. has a whole photo of you and him together, and Ray was even giving you that suspect look off to the side, like, ooh, this is suspect. Who cuffs the shorts? This ain't going to a roasting contest.
Style.
Right. This ain't going to a roasting contest. So if anybody wants to come on and talk about anything comic books related, let me know right now. If not, we are going to stop this chat because we've gone an hour and 30 minutes, and it was the season finale. So let's see. Anybody want to come on and talk about comics? Anyone? Bueller?
We could just continue it in a chat after the show.
Exactly. Bueller? No. There's going to be a hangout after this show. There will be a link in the description. I have no style. Cuffy shorts are not a style, my friend. That is not a style. That is lame. So we're going to have a link in the description to go ahead and come into a hangout. Bullshit with us. Have a good time. Rach said send him a link, gays. I think he meant guys. So we're going to get that rolling. Everybody, we appreciate you guys staying with us through the first season of All About Comics. Stay tuned for the next season of All About Comics coming in September, where we're all going to be wearing our winter coats. And if you guys want to keep up with us, we do have our All About Comics Facebook page where you can find myself, Comic Fan, Jean Paul A. Scepter, and sometimes four-way flashes when he decides his internet and Moose wants to work in a good connection. So come through, have a good time, hit that end button and that like button.
Peace out, guys.
All right.
Yay.